second perfect 10 of the night.
Last year, the Super Six went out with a bang. Fractions of points separated winners from losers. You might think, how can this get any more competitive? Think again.
This new format is dynamic. We have to be ferocious.
There's the added pressure because there's only a couple teams advancing now. Day one, we have to give it our all, like the second day isn't guaranteed.
This is just going to be freaking awesome. Like, I'm just so excited to go out there and have this experience.
When we get down to those 4 final competing teams, the gymnastics is going to be amazing.
We're hungry. We want this. You only get one chance to do what you want to do.
To advance, it's going to take a lot of confidence, a lot of passion from every individual working as a team.
It's really going to come down to who's on their A game and going to go out there and fight for it.
Welcome to the Fort Worth Convention Center for our live coverage of the 2019 NCAA Gymnastics Championships. The top 8 teams in the country are here, competing in 2 separate semifinal sessions today. Later today, Oklahoma, Denver, Georgia, and Oregon State will compete at 7 p.m. Eastern. But coming up now, it's Session 1, featuring UCLA, LSU, Utah, and Michigan. Hi, everybody. I'm Mark Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Kathy Johnson-Clark. Holly Rowe will be joining us on the sidelines as well. Well, this is the biggest weekend in collegiate gymnastics, and this year there's a little extra intensity because instead of 12 teams making it to the semifinals, only 8 are here.
It was hard enough to get to the Super Six final, but to be on the final floor tomorrow, it's going to be intense. Only 2 teams from each session make it.
Now, we talk about these great teams. Some people are calling this the session of death, because there's 4 evenly matched teams in this session, and it's going to be interesting to see who can come out alive for tomorrow's finals.
If you take a look at defending national champion UCLA, well, we're calling them made for Hollywood. They have grabbed nationwide attention and headlines with viral floor routines and a string of 10s from Caitlin Ohashi and Kyla Ross. And LSU came so close in recent years. They're ranked 3rd, but there is nothing like a hungry tiger. And Utah, we're calling them the Blue Bloods. They have been able to adapt year after year. Only team to ever make every single national championships. And Michigan battled hardships all season long. They finally embraced that gray steel leotard they had to wear because you can't break steel.
Well, not only do we have compelling narratives for the teams, but we have the top 3 all-around gymnasts in the country in this session this afternoon.
And having that Olympic-sized talent and super high score potential instantly elevates this session because all those judges knows what's possible. UCLA's Kyla the Boss Ross has shown such consistency and jaw-dropping execution. Sarah Finnegan beautifully finessed routines, making the most difficult skills look pretty and effortless. And Michaela Skinner of Utah, one of the most consistent in the competition, but also the queen of difficulty. And boy, is she feisty and fierce in competition. They are going to drive each other throughout.
There are the rankings of the top 3 all-around leaders in the NCAA, and they're all coming up next. So when we come back to Fort Worth, it's a gorgeous day. We get underway with the 2019 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship.
The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships is brought to you by Cub Cadet. Step up to the ultimate all-around mowing experience.
We're back in Fort Worth for the 2019 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship semifinal number 1. The athletes are making their final one-touch warm-ups, and we are just about set to go. Let's quickly go down to the 3rd member of our broadcast team, Holly Rowe.
Thank you, Bart. In 1976, a classically trained ballerina, Valerie Condos Field, was hired to play piano for a local gymnastics club. She found she had a taste for gymnastics, so in 1988, she accepted a job at UCLA as the choreographer. Now she is a Bruin coaching legend. Valerie Condos-Field, with 29 years as the head coach, has 7 national championships, but today will be her final competition. She will be stepping away after this season. Her athletes would love nothing more than to send her out with a national championship, but she has tried to ease that pressure from their shoulders, telling them if they can have competitive excellence and perform with joy today, they will all walk away with no regrets. She did admit she's a little nervous this morning, but she wants her athletes to be joyful and lean on their training. That way they will be successful and they start things off on the vault.
Thank you, Holly. Yes, some of the competitive coaches are calling this whole season the Valapalooza because everywhere she goes, she is appropriately honored as she deserves it. Let's update people on the rules for this championship format. They are different this year. All 4 apparatus will run simultaneously. 6 gymnasts per team compete on each apparatus. Just the top 5 scores on each event count toward their team total. There are 4 judges on each event. Drop the high and low scores, averaging the 2 remaining top 2 high scores, team scores from each semifinal. Those teams will advance from today into tomorrow's finals, and there is video review available in the semifinals and finals if some of the scores are contested by the coaches.
Take control of your event.
All right, as always, we have the all-around channel on the ESPN app and what we call the quad box, so you can follow your favorite team. You will not miss any routine today. Each channel is focusing on one event. UCLA starts in this rotation on vault, Michigan on the bars, LSU on the beam, and Utah on the floor. And we have 6 Olympians bringing you the broadcast, and we will update you on who they are and why they're so special to us. We're thrilled to have an outstanding announcing crew getting started in today's NCAA Championship Session 1.
And these leadoff routines are so incredibly important to these teams. The scores build, the performances build. On uneven bars, that's Abbey High School for Michigan, starting them off really, really strong. Look for those all-important landings, no movement of the feet, and of course on balance beam, finishing up. Unfortunately had a fall in this routine, put some pressure on the remaining 5 competitors.
What a way for the LSU Tigers to start completely unexpected. The first leadoff routine is typically very important in terms of setting the mood around nerves. Sakai Wright will vault for UCLA next. Now, UCLA in this rotation is on one of their lowest scoring events. So if they hope to advance out of today's semifinal, they'll need to be solid, particularly here, Kathy.
Yeah, so this is one of the hardest events to get that really big score. It's a quick, explosive event. Each of the vaults have a start value, and for UCLA, 5 of their 6 vaults are Yurchenko 1.5 twist, the most difficult start value, which is a 10-0 start value. So they come in with that advantage. Some of the teams will not have as many of those high-level 10-0 start value vaults.
Sakai Wright, the freshman from Paramount, California. She's been a consistent contributor to this team on vault, beam, and floor this year.
Again, she's performing the Yurchenko vault, doing the round-off entry.
Quick reminder, it's the quad box, all right? You can follow your favorite teams. Now, if you're listening to the vault channel, you'll hear Alicia Sacramone Quinn. If you listen to bars, it's Bridget Sloan. Beam is Samantha Pesic, and floor is John Roethlisberger. Here is UCLA's Sakai Wright.
Straight body in the air, really nice in the air, but a giant step on that landing. That will be a significant deduction.
Their leadoff performer for UCLA on the vault was Nia Dennis, had a 9.8. This is a crucial event for the UCLA Bruins right now. They'll finish on their biggest event, the floor, but for them to be a contender, they'll have to be consistent here on vault. Maddie Mariani for Michigan on bars after Abbey High School scored a 9.8.
Opens with her big single bar release move. That's a Tkachev, hitting those handstands really, really well. Slight leg separation on that bail. Transition to the low bar.
Mariani's the freshman from Tucson, Arizona.
Dismount Very difficult, half in, half out. That's a full twisting double back, just a micro hop on that landing. The judges look for amplitude, the height above the bar, of course the form. She is over 2 feet above the high bar, legs stay straight and toes pointed. And the dismount, little bit of feet in the air. Those toes really have to stay pointed throughout the entire skill.
We're going to the beam, and Bridget Dean is waiting her turn. This meet, there are 6 judges, high and low thrown out. 4 scores in the middle are averaged, and so the first score was a fall for Christina Desiderio. They're trying to calibrate her score right now, and Bridget Dean has to wait. So we'll jump over to a 2-box on the floor. Kari Lee from Utah after Macy Roberts let them off with a 9.838.
Kari opens with a 2.5 twist. Now on the floor exercise, the judges are looking for very secure, controlled landings on all 3 tumbling passes. And of course, looking for that high level of difficulty, not just in the tumbling, but those dance skills.
Bridget Dean mounts the beam for LSU at the same time.
A lot of pressure right off the bat for LSU. They need to get this team back on track on this event. Aerial cartwheel to the back handspring, very secure.
Talk about secure on floor. Kari Lee for Utah is 52 for 52 routines this year. Hasn't had a miss. She's the senior co-captain from Peoria, Arizona.
Really nice to see her having such a great year. Stepped into more events this year. So far, Bridget is very solid on beam. You can see how deliberate she is being on the balance beam. Aerial cartwheel to the layout full. Good fight on that landing. That is an adjustment of the foot, though, so a minor deduction there.
The score for Desiderio to lead off LSU on beam was a 9.1125. So extra pressure on the 5 remaining performers from LSU. Moment ago for UCLA, Paulina Trotz.
She usually performs a Yurchenko full. Very well done. Look at the fight to keep those feet on the mat on the landing.
Her score was a 9.85. Before her, Sakai Wright, a 9.7625, and Nia Dennis led them off with a 9.8. And just a moment ago, Felicia Hano for UCLA on the ball.
With a 1.5 twist, this blind landing, she'll face away from the table.
Oh, nice.
Gets it really nicely done.
Hano, the junior from San Gabriel, California, Pac-12 vault co-champion. They need big scores in this opening rotation. As you see Kyla Ross there getting fist pumps. Kyla Ross has had just a ridiculously good season, hasn't she? Let's go to Holly Rowe.
Well, Kyla Ross is a walking 10. She's had so many this season, more than anyone in NCAA history. And she said she has really come out of her shell. She said, I've been a little shy before, but this year I finally know who I am. I'm letting my fun, quirky personality out. She said, I think I'm hilarious, and I'm letting that fun personality show in my gymnastics. It's opened her up to all new levels of success.
And look at those stats. The most perfect 10s in a season, most consecutive meets with a 10. Of course, these meets at the championship level have more judges, so to get 6 judges to give you a 10 is a little trickier.
And her focus is so
my!
I almost could have predicted that. She can dial these things in and not get ahead of herself.
Wow.
Thinking about the landing too soon. Hits the big vault in the air, the 1.5 twist, perfectly stretched, no movement.
Her consistency this season has been inconceivable.
It is the technique that she has such precision with. Tight body in the air, and she's just like a cat. She's uncanny in her ability to know where the ground is. Good height. This is what has improved in her vault. Almost 5 feet above the table. Finishes with her head level with the table. Finishes that 1.5. Awesome job.
And Miss Val knows that Kyla Ross, the boss, is money whenever you need her. Olivia Karras for Michigan a moment ago on bars.
Watch her transition from the low bar to the high bar, how it elevates right here on this skill. And Maloney, right back down to the bail. I love that her legs are glued shut. Legs stay straight, toes pointed, effortless up to that handstand. See if she can get the landing on the double layout. Perfect landing.
They've had good scores for Michigan on that first event, 9.8 for high school. Maddie Mariana has their highest score to this point, 9.8625.
Gracie Kramer with a 1.5. Not quite as secure on the landing, had to take that step forward. But good difficulties, 10.0 start value.
And she's coming up after Kyla Ross notched a 9.95. So the scores range for UCLA from Sakai Wright's 9.7625 up to the 9.95 for Kyla Ross. They expect to drop the 9.7625 and count the 5 best scores towards the team total. A moment ago, Natalie Wojcik from Michigan on bars, and what a season she has had, Kathy.
Watch her release move. It's a piked Jaeger, keeps those legs together. It's a front somersault to the regress. Little leg separation so far in this routine. They're minor deductions, but they do add up. Beautiful execution on that final cast. Nice swing. Look how straight that body is. Double layout went out a little too far in the air and couldn't get the landing.
Solid scores for Michigan on bars in that first rotation, though. 9.9 was the score for Olivia Karras. The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship continues today with semifinal number 2 at 7 Eastern on ESPNU. For more information on the 90 NCAA Championships, log on to ncaa.com. Kennedy Edney now for LSU on beam. Let's update you with the score. Sammy Durante had a 9.8375. That's their high score. Bridget Dean, a 9.775. So LSU needs some clutch performances starting right here.
Kennedy Edney has come up with them numerous times in her career. This is not her best event, but she has so improved and become so solid when necessary.
It's quite a gut check for any team when your leadoff performer has a fall.
Should have landed that straddle jump with the feet all the way together. As I said, these are minor little things, but the judges need to be on their game as well, because those kind of things will separate the truly exceptional from the great and the good. Nice front toss, but did not quite get a secure landing on the front toss on balance beam.
As we bring in from Utah, Sydney Solosky. Adrian Randall before her had a 9.7125. Their high score was their leadoff, which is Macy Roberts with a 9.8375.
There's our first look at one of those tumbling passes, the most difficult passes in tumbling. She performed a double layout. Your top teams are going to need multiple big skills like that in their lineup.
Solosky, the sophomore from Calgary, Canada. NCAA All-American on this event. She scored her career high of 9.925 3 different times.
Second tumbling pass. Nicely performed double twist. Not super difficulty, but very clean.
It's worth noting the team scores there on the right of your screen. Those are updated in real time. Michigan with a terrific start on bars as a 49.3. UCLA on its lowest scoring event, a 49.2875. Those two events finish quicker because vault and bars are faster performances than floor and beam.
Back 1.5 to the front layup. That's her combination pass. Really well executed. This is the super difficulty pass, the double layout. It's an E element. She opened very, very strong. They're looking for a tight, completely laid out body and landing with that chest up and then not that big lunge or a slide back.
Reagan Campbell on beam now for LSU. Edney had a 9.8125.
Reagan is a really nice performer on the balance beam, well trained in this event. Judges look for posture and rhythm. Keep the movement going on the balance beam. Nice combination.
She's the sophomore from Dallas, Texas area. A lot of her club members and friends are here in the audience. She did her club training at Texas Dreams.
Beautiful extension on those leaps. The judges really need to see the full 180 degrees in the split, and that split half should have come around just a little bit more to get that full half turn around in the air. Nice double twist. A little bit off center there, but again, minor little deductions.
There's a lot of gymnasts in this competition who come from the Dallas-Fort Worth suburban area. There's so many top-level clubs here in North Texas. Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
We saw Utah get off to a quick start on floor, really solid rotation, and there's a good reason. They started warm-ups today at 9 a.m. their time, Utah time. They have been preparing for this all year, having early morning practices occasionally so that their bodies could be awake and ready to twist and flip, as Megan Marsden called it. She said they even had an early dinner last night with players eating at 3 o'clock, getting their massages, trying to wind down by 8 p.m. so that they could be wound down and ready to get up early. She said it's not easy to wake up in the morning ready to flip through the air. They have done a lot of things to make sure they were ready to get off to a quick start, and it looks like they did on floor.
As you were watching Megan Marsden, her 10th season as the co-head coach in her 35th year overall, running this remarkably good program. We go now to McKenna Merrill Giles, coming after Solosky, got a 9.8375.
Opens with a piked full in. Really nice, solid landing. Really needs to tighten those legs, keep the toes pointed. She's very tall, and it looks beautiful in terms of posture. Got to concentrate on the form and the lower legs. Watch for the elevation on those 3 back-to-back salto skills. They should rise as they go.
One of the co-captains on this team, the 8-time All-American. 3 of those at the NCAA championships and what they call 5 regular season All-American honors for her work throughout the regular season.
She loses a little bit of precision with the footwork in that choreography into the corner. Let's see if she can get the landing here. The Rudy into the straddle jump. Nice amplitude. Strong routine.
And she's one of the 3 all-arounders competing for the Utes today, along with Michaela Skinner and Kari Lee. So half of their performances come from 3 standout all-around athletes. A moment ago, Sarah Finnegan mounted the beam for LSU, coming after Reagan Campbell scored 9.825.
And this could possibly be one of the most beautiful routines you'll see in the competition. Such a complete gymnast. Opens with a wolf turn here, a more difficult full turn. But watch the details, the beautiful toe point, the posture, the hand gestures. Here's her acro series. Back handspring layout step out.
Kathy, not only one of the most beautiful routines, but perhaps one of the most critical routines right now for LSU. Their scores have not been superb here, and they don't want to count a fall.
She showed gorgeous extension on those leaps and really got that half turnaround on the second leap, which is really the way it should be performed for no deduction. Side somersault. That was a beautiful minor correction midair, so we saw nothing in terms of balance on the landing.
6 times in her career, she scored perfect 10s, once on the beam. Oh, nice.
Always dials that landing in so perfectly.
That 2-time SEC all-around champion under pressure delivers.
She is just like a gem under pressure. I cannot tell you how difficult that is, but it's her training, it's her mindset, and her performance quality.
All right, you talk about high-level gymnastics. You mentioned it at the top of the show. There are a few gymnasts in NCAA competition that go for the difficulty that Michaela Skinner does, and we're going to see it all right here on floor. Something else.
It's just crazy. Double-double for this first pass. 2 flips, 2 twists. Here it comes. Big air, big difficulty. Oh, a little unsure on that landing. They'll have to take a tiny deduction.
2-time NCAA champion. She won the floor title in 2017 and the vault title last year.
And this middle pass is really nice too. It's a lot of twisting, 1.5 twists, steps out of it, tumbles right through to another double twist. Much better landing.
The regional championship this year, she actually had her first fall in collegiate competition. After 161 hit routines, she actually showed the world she was human. In what is being called the fall heard round the world. She is impeccable, not only in her difficulty, but in her consistency.
Well, I choose to focus on all the ones she's hit, not the one tiny little one she missed. Now watch this, a full twisting double back to finish the routine. Most gymnasts open with that pass. She finishes with it, looks around, giving the judges the look. How'd you like that?
McKenna Merrill Giles before her, a 9.875. That was their high score, and we expect a big score for that routine as well.
Well, this is just so much fun to watch. It's so difficult. She does it with ease and just has that little foot adjustment there that they'll have to take a slight deduction for. But wow, what a treat we got with this performance.
10 times they've been national champions, 9 in the NCAA and 1 as an AIAW champion, and co-head coach Megan Marsden likes it as well. Let's go down to Holly.
Well, as you see, Michaela Skinner, one of the things that she's gotten a real reputation for in gymnastics is the crazy, wild celebration. She's fist pumping. She's running around, high-fiving her teammates. Some people criticize her for that because it's kind of unusual in this sport. But she said, you know, I love it. I am so confident in myself, and I want to show that to my teammates. It gets me going. It gets my teammates going. And, hey, she loves that women can be confident and celebrate their accomplishment, just like the guys in other sports.
Well said, Holly Rowe. And we talk about the team competition today, but also at these national championships, they will also be crowning individual champions. There are all-arounders and individual athletes competing who are the highest placed NCAA athletes who are not on a team contending for a team championship, which brings up Sienna Kraus, the senior from Fargo, North Dakota. She is a superb all-around gymnast. Nebraska did not make it through the regionals. As we said, it's even more intense now with only 8 teams here, but it's a thrill to see this young lady, and boy, can she fly. Regional all-around champion with a score of 39.6.
Opens with a front double twist. That's an E skill right into a front layout. One of the coolest parts of the NCAA championships are these individual athletes going around the floor with the teams, and how the teams, look at them, all cheer for her. They're all from Utah, and they're cheering her on as if she's the 7th member of their team. So far, she's doing a nice job. Needs to get her eyes up a little bit more off the floor to really present as if this is a stage. Nice Rudy into a back layout step out. Nice finish. Good for her.
Sienna Kraus, the senior from Nebraska, competing here in the all-around competition with hopes of an individual all-around medal. Holly Rowe has Michigan head coach Bev Plocky.
Here with Michigan coach Bev Plocky. Your athletes came out today for warm-ups with shirts that said all gas, no brakes. And it feels like that's exactly how you started on the bars.
That's exactly what our whole game plan is for today, is just to put it all out there, do it for each other, don't worry about everything else that's going on, just have fun.
It seemed like great confidence in this first rotation. What did you see from your bar set?
I'm really happy with how we were aggressive, hit handstands. We were pretty good on some dismounts. And, you know, great way to start off the meet. Now we got to bring it down a notch, get ready to go work some beam.
Thank you. Great start. I feel the gas burning. It was great.
Thank you.
And here are the scores after the first of 4 rotations. After LSU struggled on beam, they're in last. Utah leads, and the top 3 teams separated by just 25 thousandths of a point. And we're back in Fort Worth getting set for the second rotation. Here are the scores after the first rotation. Utah, with an outstanding performance on the floor, has the lead. And once again, the top 3 separated by just 25 thousandths of a point. Michaela Skinner is always delivering highlights, and she certainly delivered one on the floor, Kathy.
On the strength of her super-duper difficulty. Double-double right there. There's your only little flaw there. Wowed the judges. They came up big time in terms of the score, 99375.
What a start for Michigan on the bars, including this performance from Olivia Karras.
This was such perfection in flight. Kept those legs together, did not give the judges an opportunity to pick up their pens, and Kyla Ross just with spectacular technical precision and an uncanny ability to find that landing on a very difficult 1.5 twist. Biggest score of the rotation, 9.95.
Thursday, it's the first round of the NFL Draft live from Nashville. Catch all the action on ESPN, and for the first time ever, ABC will have its own unique coverage hosted by the College Game Day crew. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, and you can also catch all 3 days of the draft on ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio, NFL Network, and the ESPN app. We are just getting underway here in Fort Worth. We have 6 hours of live championship gymnastics this weekend on ESPN, and we're glad you've joined us. Boy, second rotation when we come back.
I hit 161 routines in my college career so far.
That record is, it's not quite correct because I watch her train and she doesn't miss anything in training either. So I would add thousands of times that we had not seen her fall. And then it happened, she fell. Oh my gosh, she's human. It's okay.
It was kind of weird. I don't know. I didn't even feel like I was there. I was like, wait, what's going on? Do I even know how to jump back up on the bar and go, you know? It was kind of weird, but, I just went out there and finished strong.
Poor Michaela Skinner, she has carried this Utah gymnastics team. That is 3 years hitting every single routine. That is something remarkable. She said, I felt like I've had my team on my back for many of those years, and it was really nice that when I needed my team, they were there for me. They picked her up quickly, got her back going, and she's looking forward to starting a brand new streak of hit routines today with still another year to compete in gymnastics.
Thank you, Holly. Yeah, what an incredible streak. And as Megan Marsden appropriately said, she doesn't even miss in practice. So
that's the most remarkable thing about it, because we know what she does in competition, but that you can do that time and time again throughout the years is incredible.
Quick reminder, you can watch every routine on the ESPN app. Each apparatus has its own individual channel, plus the all-around channel where you can see all 4 apparatus at once. On vault, we have Alicia Sacramone-Quinn commentating. On bars, it's Bridget Sloan. On beam, it's Samantha Pesic. And on floor, it's John Roethlisberger. 6 Olympians on your telecast today. And together, all of these Olympians have won a total of 23 world and Olympic medals. So the best in the business working for ESPN today, and we're thrilled to have them.
Did you happen to catch that stick in the top left-hand corner of your screen? That's Utah off to a phenomenal start. Stuck landing on the vault, and they are ranked second in the nation on this event, so big opportunity for them to capitalize on here.
In this rotation, UCLA's on bars, Michigan's on beam. LSU moves to the floor. They hope to get some momentum back there, and they can do it on floor. And Utah is on the vault.
Lauren Farley, the lead-up performer on balance beam. Crucial, as we've pointed out, probably more so on this event than any other. You have to set the tone, the rhythm, the confidence for the entire lineup. Lost the foot just a little bit in the back foot on that leap. The judges are looking for these little details.
He's also a sophomore from the Dallas, Texas area. 2-time All Big Ten. Good start. Macy Roberts for Utah, set to go on the vault.
She's going to perform the same vault as her teammate Kari did, the Yurchenko fold. This is a 995 start value. So if done perfectly with no deductions, that's the highest score it can achieve.
She has hit 28 for 28 routines this season, so she is very consistent and contributes typically on floor as well. The senior from McDonald, Tennessee.
Really nice distance on that vault. Traveled away from the table. Could have gone a little bit higher, and then that big hop on the landing will be a deduction.
Their leadoff, Kari Lee, got a 9.8375, and now UCLA goes to Nia Dennis. Marzetta Frazier
opened with a 9.9, which was incredible. Now Nia has a torn labrum in her shoulder, so she has limited numbers she can do in practice. So for her to be hitting these elements so cleanly, got that handstand leading up to the dismount and a double layout and a stuck landing.
Back now to beam for Michigan. Lauren Farley had a 9.725. This is Maddie Osman.
Love that she goes up high on toe in that releve position. She'll open with her acro series. This is a requirement, a flight series, 2 elements in a row, back handspring to the layout. It's the most common combination you'll see to fulfill that requirement.
Great to see Michigan doing well here. They've had an extremely challenging season in and out of the gym. And even recent injuries of this week, Emma McLean, who is one of their stars, had a hand injury, so she's not in the lineup today.
We can't stress the importance. A little bit short on that split position there. The judges are really looking for it to be in a complete 180-degree split to give it full credit. Finishes with a gainer full, another very common dismount you'll see off the balance beam. Kicks that leg over. It's called a gainer full. As I said, you'll see many of those in this competition.
We noted that LSU struggled in that first rotation, and they are over on floor trying to gain some momentum back. McKenna Merrill-Giles, we saw her floor routine earlier. She's set to go on vault. Macy Roberts had a 9.75. Waiting on the score of Alexia Birch.
And Utah finishes their final 3 gymnasts have the 10-0 start value vault. You'll see a lot of difficulty beginning with this 1.5 twist.
Birch's score is in. It's a 9.8125. So the high score so far is the 9.8375 from Kari Lee.
Watch the form in the air. Look for straight legs, pointed toes.
Oh, wow.
Really nicely done. I think that's the best vault I've ever seen her do because she's sometimes a little soft in the legs. Boy, she really extended them hard, stretched all the way through this layout position. And, of course, watch this landing. Well done.
Great effort on the vault for McKenna Merrill-Giles, the senior from Pleasant Grove, Utah. Nora Flatley now, the freshman from West Des Moines, Iowa, for UCLA on this event.
UCLA is superb on this event, ranked number 1 in the country.
They already have 2 9.9s from Frazier and Dennis.
Really nice amplitude. Lost the toe point on the 1 foot on the left. Just a little bit of a flex there. Good swing here, picking up the momentum. Nice position. Oh, no. Came up short on the double layout. Really bent those legs.
Talk about difficulty. Here's that double twisting Yurchenko from Michaela Skinner. Oh, wow.
Really nice job in the air. One of her best vaults.
No kidding.
Ever. Exactly what she wanted to do. And in the most difficult vault in the competition.
Boy, did she drill it.
Many people think maybe this should be a higher start value. A little over 4 feet off the table. She doesn't get huge height, but she can twist so fast and like a cat find the floor.
And Megan Marsden knows that there is no movement on the landing for the junior. Back to floor now, Lexi Priestman for LSU.
She has been in and out of the lineup, working around little injuries that have just plagued her entire career, really.
She's had a total of 9 surgeries in her career, and she has been such a workhorse, one of the 4 seniors for LSU. Let's go down to Holly Rowe for more on this young lady.
Well, Lexi Priestman for LSU on the floor right now is competing with a torn bicep. She suffered that new tear in her bicep around the SEC championship. She has been off since then. They've been resting her. She also had stem cell injection into that muscular tissue to try to get some regeneration and regrowth. It is just incredible that she's competing today, but she said, I've just begged my coaches. I told them that I will be ready. She wanted to be in the lineup so badly, but amazing to be competing with a tear in your bicep as a gymnast at this event.
Good point, Holly. In many ways, she's the heart and soul of this team. She is really a warrior and has been her entire career.
And I think that injection really helped her legs, surprisingly, because her tumbling is the best I have seen it. It's got so much punch on all 3 of them, really lifted off the floor. Best routine she's done on floor exercise.
I think I want one of those injections, too. That was superb. She's had so many injuries, and many of them to her lower legs. And yet she really got off the floor today.
You would have never known it watching it.
Madison Koshin now for UCLA on the bar. A quick update on their scores. Nora Flatley, after that stumble on the landing, only a 9.7375.
Difficult combination right here. The Chow right back up to the bar. Love her stalder work. Gorgeous position on that handstand pirouette. She does a different kind of tap. Taps behind that low bar. Pulls out a great full twisting double back. A little hop forward on the landing, but I would call it a half hop.
2-time Olympic medalist. She competed for the U.S. team in 2016. Won a team gold and a silver medal on the uneven bars. Kyla Ross herself an Olympic gold medalist from 2012. This is the only team in history that has featured 2 Olympic gold medalists on it in the NCAA competition.
This could possibly be one of the most impeccably performed routines. The patience she shows to execute every skill to its fullest. Amplitude, execution, perfectly straight body, and form that just never goes away. You can't get her in a bad position. Double layout here. She has come up with perfect landing so many times. Not this time. A step forward there. Too bad.
The Pac-12 Gymnast of the Year, Pac-12 all-around bars and floor champion, came up just a little short of rotation.
Didn't quite hit that release point. Usually she is just spot on, just like this handstand on top of the bar. Needed to get her legs up just a little bit more so she could get a tiny bit more rotation to not take that step.
Let's go down to floor where LSU is performing now. Kennedy Edney getting set to go. Sports fans might know her father is the famous UCLA basketball player Tyus Edney. Let's go down to Holly Rowe for more.
Well, guys, I'm very curious to see how Kennedy Edney does on this event. She had a very difficult warm-up routine. She tried her middle pass 3 different times, and she really over-rotated and struggled on the landing. Saw several different coaches for LSU go up to her and talk to her and point to their head, you've got to be more mentally strong. Let's see if she can pull it together here on this routine and correct that landing.
Well, the most difficult pass in her routine is this opening pass. It's an Arabian double front, blind landings. You really have to know where you are in the air and open up perfectly, just like that. Nailed it. Sometimes it's those surprise landings that work out best. There's just no way she was going to move.
The junior from Chino, California, 2 years ago, the NCAA vault champion.
Okay, a little bit of a big step out of that combination pass. But that was the one she was struggling with, so she reined it back in. Good for her.
Update on the scores there. Ruby Harold led them off with a 9.85. Christina Desiderio only a 9.6375. Lexi Priestman a 9.875. So LSU has not been stellar yet to this point in the competition.
Opens with a tuck double back. Very good control on that final landing. The best of all 3, really.
Lexi Funk for Michigan on beam. Update you on their scores there. They have a 9.725 from Lauren Farley. Their highest score was Olivia Karras' 9.875. Remember, Michigan, the leaders after the first of 4 rotations in this semifinal number 1.
I love that mount choreography on the balance beam. Unique and interesting. Also showing very good rhythm, moving in and out of the difficult elements on beam. A little bit of a balance break out of that layout step out.
Let's see, Funk, the junior from Aurora, Illinois, one of the team co-captains, and the 2-time Big Ten champion, once on beam and once on floor.
I like that switch half with a quarter turn added in the air. Feet jump to a straddle full. Very well done. One of the more difficult jumps done on balance beam. A little bit of a sickle foot there, just the tiny little details.
She's had some flexor tendon inflammation, so the coaching staff says she's shown a great deal of grit this season, and that really has been the mantra for the Michigan Wolverines, is you can't break steel. They have been struggling through many things, but they've made it all the way here to the national championship semifinal. Well, a young lady who hasn't struggled at all this year because of her superb form and technique is this gymnast, Sarah Finnegan.
The finesse she shows, even on the most difficult skills, that 1.5 twist to a 2.5 twist. Oh, a little short on the landing. She was a little bit off on that 1.5. I've never seen that happen with her.
Kennedy Edney before her got a 9.9125.
Beautiful height on the double tuck. Obviously, the judges have to take deductions for those little mistakes. I would like to point out, however, that there are some routines that have little flaws in them that should also be deductions, cumulative deductions. Sarah doesn't have any of those. Her routines, other than that mistake so far, have truly been flawless.
One of the 4 seniors on this team. They have really been the heart and soul of the LSU Tigers. 3-time consecutive SEC team champions.
Lovely control on that pike double back. Even made a very powerful tumbling skill look elegant.
LSU trying to get some momentum back after struggling in the first rotation.
That first pass, it's a 1.5 twist. She looked a tiny bit off to me right here. Almost had to bend that front leg to really power through this. So she was just a little bit short. And yet she managed to pull it out. They will take a little deduction.
For Michigan, Natalie Wojcik. Lexi Funk before her, a 9.85. So they have 4 scores, 9.8 and above, 1.9725. So Michigan had the lead after the first of 4 rotations. You see their scores. A big score here would be important because they're trying to replace the 9.725.
Natalie is ranked 7th in the nation on this event and also 6th in the all-around.
Just a freshman from Pennsylvania.
Beautiful extension of the legs. The real hyper extension in her legs make them look so beautiful in the air. Perfectly straight. And it goes right into that toe point, making a gorgeous picture in the air.
The 2019 Big Ten champ in all-around and floor exercise.
Very solid. Cat leap into a side aerial. She is so confident. Her composure is really extraordinary. Even can look to the side, smile at the judges. She knows she's got a good balance beam routine going.
And McKenna Kelly on floor for LSU at the same time.
Really nice finish. Exceptional balance beam routine with a stuck landing.
Sarah Finnegan had a 9.875 with that short landing. McKenna Kelly, a chance to notch a big score for LSU now, and they need it.
Front layout to a front full. A little bit of a hop on that front foot. I'm just seeing a few little nerve deductions, nerve mistakes by LSU.
We talk about narratives that each team has. Typically, LSU comes out of the blocks really strong. This year, because of some injuries, they had to slowly work their way into the season. They had 3 losses the 2 previous years. They only had 1 loss the entire season. But they have been peaking here towards the postseason, haven't they?
They had a great competition at the SEC Championships and again at regionals, both performing to a home crowd. Finishes well with a double tuck. Solid routine for them here.
McKenna Kelly of that senior class for LSU. She's from Houston, Texas. Scored a perfect 10 this year in her senior season. And she gets the LSU stick crown for that performance.
Open strong with that double layout. Just a little bit down on the chest on the landing. did a nice job of not moving the feet. Same thing here on the tuck double back at the end.
And Dee Dee Bro, in her 42nd year, the Dean of Coaches in the SEC, liked it, as did Mary Lou Retton, Kathy Johnson, your Olympic teammate, and the mother of McKenna Kelly. After PTI, catch SportsCenter with Sage and Kevin. They'll break down what Russell Westbrook must do to lead the Thunder to victory tonight, plus the fight plans for Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan, and evaluating Kyler Murray through virtual reality. SportsCenter at 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. As we mentioned earlier, we have 7 commentators here. 6 of them are Olympians. And right now, we're going to go down and listen to their individual event commentary with Olympian John Roethlisberger and his partner, Alicia Sacramone-Quinn.
Sydney Dukes, we've had a chance to watch Sydney quite a bit over the last few years. She has been a stud, really raised that Kentucky program to another level. Here she is competing as an individual on floor exercise.
Opens up with a big double pike. Sydney always has a smile on her face. I think she might be the happiest gymnast I've ever seen.
Tim Garrison has done an amazing job with that Kentucky program. They made it into the NCAA championships as a team last year for the first time. And really, Sydney Dukes, in a lot of ways, you could say, is the biggest reason why. Certainly, they've had some other great gymnasts come onto the program. Now, Molly Korth comes to mind. But she put that team on her shoulders for a while and worked her way back into the all-around competition this year as well. Something I know that's important to her.
Her and her teammate Alex Highland, they are a dominating force in that team, and they lead by example, and they're both here today competing together. So they may not have their whole team here supporting them, but they at least have each other, which is, I'm sure, great for their friendship to experience this. Kentucky, at least one teammate. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, no,
Sorry.
Kentucky just started slow this year, too. They had some injuries, but they came on strong. I think you picked them as the dark horse to get into this top 8 as a lower-ranked team, and they couldn't quite do it, but certainly they're fun to watch, and in the years to come, they will be here in this new format almost certainly.
Just a tad bit short in that double tuck landing. Kicked it open a little too early. But a good performance for Sydney Dukes on the floor exercise.
Congratulations, Sydney, on an outstanding career. One of the best Wildcats to ever put on the blue.
Let's go down to Holly Rowe. She's with Utah's Megan Marsden.
Utah coach Megan Marsden and a really great vault rotation. Kathy Johnson said McKenna Giles did probably the best vault she has seen her do. Also, Michaela Skinner came up huge. What was your impression?
Well, I was really proud of the girls for sticking vaults. That's what it's about on this event. High flying, but then finding the landing, and we had several get that done today.
You had such a great start to this competition on floor, leading after that first rotation. What do you see from this early start, but some real technical proficiency?
I see the confidence going into my girls by each routine, each vault, and I love that. That's something we've been working on. Now we have to kind of rein it in a little bit on the intricate events, but I think they're ready for that.
Awesome, thank you.
We mentioned this is going to be a close semifinal. Look at this. UCLA has surged into the lead from third up to first after a great rotation on the bars. Utah was first. They have gone all the way down to fourth. That's a
My name is Valerie Condos Field. I have gone by the name of Miss Val since 1982, when I first got to UCLA and worked for the UCLA gymnastics team as their dance coach and choreographer.
It shocks a lot of people is that Miss Val actually never did gymnastics.
When I first became a head coach, I tried to emulate other head coaches. Once I realized how ridiculous that was, and I stopped and thought, what do I bring to the table? That's when I started coaching pure to myself.
Being able to come here and meet Miss Val, who teaches us we're more than just gymnasts or athletes, it kind of takes off the pressure and it allows you to be who you want to be and not have that fear. Because without fear, then you can truly accomplish things.
I hope I've been an example to you can train champions in a positive, healthy, joyful environment.
Time for our t-shirt toss. Who wants a t-shirt?
Miss Val is going to move on and be a motivational speaker and have choreography and dance projects. Cannot recommend her book highly enough. Life is short. Don't wait to dance. She is so filled with joy. We have loved watching her and the joy she brings out in her gymnast. And she can't wait for the next chapter of her career, but we are so grateful that this sport has had such a beautiful, wonderful example of joy and excellence.
Thank you, Holly. And if you want to see the full feature on Miss Val, go to espnw.com. We said at the top of the show, this is going to be close. These four teams separated by less than 0.2 of a point. UCLA, after great work on bars, has surged up into the lead. Here are the scores at the halfway point in semifinal one at the 2019 NCAA Gymnastics Championship. These four teams, as expected, separated by less than 0.2 of a point. Coverage of the NBA playoffs rolls on tonight with a trio of Game 3s. Raptors Magic at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Celtics Pacers at 8:30 on ABC. And then Trailblazers Thunder at 9:30 on ESPN. You can also catch all the action streaming live on the ESPN app. What's going on to Holly Rowe?
As the LSU Tigers prepare to take on the vault in this rotation, they are very heavy with hearts. Without one of the key members of their Tiger family, Bob Moore, longtime assistant coach, was not able to make the trip after a health scare with his wife Sandra, who's home trying to battle the effects of an aneurysm. Their family is all thinking of him and his wife Sandra. They wanted them to know that they are with them in spirit here today at the National Championship. Jay Clark will have to step up and take on some additional role here as an assistant coach, but LSU obviously thinking about a key member of their Tiger family.
Thank you, Holly. Our prayers and best wishes and most positive energy sent to Sandra and Bob Moore. We wish them well. Okay, this is the rotation where LSU moves to the vault. UCLA's on beam, Michigan's on floor, and Utah goes to the bars. Remember, UCLA's the leader, and now they take to the beam where other teams have shown some nerves.
Sarah Finnegan begins on vault for LSU. She has one of the most perfect Yurchenko fulls, 995 start value, but if she hits it as well as we've seen her hit, that's about a max score right there because there's just nothing to deduct.
If you compare all four events, typically the vault scores have been a little bit lower than the other events, so they'll need to be particularly clean here if they hope to come out of this semifinal as one of the top two teams and compete for tomorrow's national championship.
And Bart, it's really because the mistakes that can happen on vault are more obvious, and so it's easy to take those deductions. The other nuanced events like balance beam and floor exercise, there's so much going on and areas they can deduct for.
Gracie Glenn for UCLA on the beam.
She looked a little bit nervous early in the routine. She's settling down now. She has gorgeous flexibility and some of the best leaps on balance beam in the competition.
First team all Pac-12 on this event.
Finishes strong, a little bit of a chest down on the landing. As I said, she was a tiny bit nervous. That's what we're seeing in these semifinals. It's a dynamic when you just can't move on that places extra pressure and sometimes get them in their heads too much.
Ruby Harold from Great Britain, the Olympian. She's competing for LSU here. This is a really interesting event because she does some really unusual difficulty, doesn't she, Kathy?
On the vault, she's doing a 1.5 twist. And she has been very successful all season long on this vault. Really nicely done. She was maybe a tiny bit short on rotation, so she bent her legs just a little bit to make sure she got that rotation around, but that's so subtle, and the judges don't have the opportunity like we do to look back on its slow motion. Little check on that landing with a step forward.
Hunter Dula on bars for Utah. Kari Lee led them off with a 9.7875.
Really nice toe point here. Stalled her work. I love that skill. You don't often see it. Right into a tuck double back. Not a really difficult dismount, but well done.
Dula, the freshman, 3-time qualifier to the Junior Olympic Nationals.
You want these handstands to look like they are sucked up a straw. Backs perfectly flat. I love the toe point. A little bit of separation in those toes, but I'm being picky.
McKenna Kelly now. We saw her on the floor a moment ago. Sarah Finnegan had a 9.8875.
This is a different vault. It's a traditional entry, no round off. Handspring front pike with a half twist. Well done. Good distance from the table, but the hop on the landing, and perhaps the chest was down a little bit. Those judges sit on the side.
It's all pretty remarkable when you think a year and a half ago she tore her Achilles tendon. To see this kind of power and explosiveness.
These athletes are tough, and when it comes to coming back from an injury, they do it better than any athlete I know.
Ruby Harold before her had a 9.85. There is our surround talent: Alicia Sacramone-Quinn, Bridget Sloan, Sam Pesic, and John Roethlisberger, all renowned Olympic athletes in their own right, and they are all commentating on each individual event. So vault is handled by Alicia Sacramone-Quinn. Bridget Sloan is commentating on the bars, Samantha Pesic on the beam, where she was a national champion, and John Roethlisberger on the floor exercise. Go to the ESPN app and you can listen to their specific commentary on each individual event.
Kim Tesson on the bars for Utah. I love the straight body cast, legs together. She doesn't straddle up like most athletes. Boy, she nailed that handstand position right there.
Hunter Dula had a 9.8375.
Another straight body handstand. Those are risky to do because if there's any leg separation, there's a deduction. And of course, that hop on the landing out of a full twisting double back.
The junior from Orem, Utah, has hit 24 of 25 routines, consistently contributing for the Utah Red Rocks. Juliana Canamella for LSU on the vault a moment ago after McKenna Kelly got a 9.8375.
Yurchenko full here. Nice setup and block off the table to go into that full. I love that this athlete has been able to step in and out of the lineup. And when they need her, she comes up big. Look at the nice form. Arms go out to the side. Just a little hop on the landing, but really well done.
Solid scores for LSU in that rotation. Great technique for Juliana Canamella. Madison Koshin now on beam for UCLA. Riel Wynn before her, a 9.85. Gracie Glenn led them off with a 9.8.
Madison has struggled a little bit with confidence on this event. And it has been Miss Val's intention to convince her to trust herself, trust her training, and her ability to stay in a moment, really attack the landing just like that.
McKenna Merrill Giles for Utah, starting her bar routine at the same time.
And she has an interesting skill, the only one I believe being done here, and it's a ginger. It's a flyaway with a half twist right here, and then she will catch the bar, legs straddle. Delchev, excuse me, I'm sorry. Everybody does a ginger. so far. Madison looks as confident as I have seen her. Nice job of the landing by McKenna Merrill-Giles. Really good competition here. Starting to see them settle down in terms of the nerves and really focus on their cues.
A moment ago, Sarah Edwards for LSU on vault. Juliana Canamella had a 9.875, a season high for her.
1.5 twist here, good distance, but carried it forward and had to take the step on that landing.
Boy, they're big vaults from LSU, though, really getting up off the vault table.
And they're bigger than they were than earlier in the season. They really have increased the dynamics on this event.
I'm sure Bob Moore and his wife Sandra watching this and proud of the effort for the LSU Tigers. They were tight on beam, solid on floor. They're working their way back into consideration. Remember, 4 teams going simultaneously. Only 2 will advance out of this session to tomorrow's finals. Kennedy Edney, former national champion on this event. Good time for a big vault.
She has big amplitude on this skill, 1.5 twist, and just flat out nailed that landing.
Unreal.
Exceptional job finding the landing. Judges look for height and distance. Good block off the table. Little bit of legs there as she blocked, but 5 feet at the height of that jump and 7 feet away from the table.
That's the kind of momentum that Dee Bro has been hoping for. Finally, LSU regaining some of that swagger that we saw at the SEC Championships about a month ago in New Orleans. Missy Reinstatler on the bars. We saw McKenna Merrill-Giles. Her score was a 9.875.
This is a routine marked with impeccable form. Beautiful straight legs, toe point. Little bit shy of that handstand on the bail. Made her arch her back a little bit as she caught in the handstand position. Dismount is a full twisting double back, toes pointed throughout the entire skill. Not many gymnasts do that.
She's been struggling with a foot injury, so we're only seeing her on the bars here.
Look at that. Brings those toes together, locks in the toe point, and finds the landing.
Let's go down to Holly Rowe.
What makes that stuck landing even more miraculous is a significant foot injury on that left foot. As you can see, she will have surgery immediately after the season. So fighting through pain and discomfort, a fantastic stick from Utah. Can't imagine how hard that was for Missy Reinstatler, but she gave it her all.
She's typically a very beautiful all-around gymnast, but limited to just one event. Wishing her the best in her recovery after her postseason surgery. Kennedy Edney's score in for LSU, a 9.95. So LSU, a superb rotation on vault in the third of 4 rotations. They seem to be getting a little of that confidence back, Kathy.
When they need it most. Definitely saw some nerves so far.
Kayla Skinner, we saw some highlights from her already.
This is the event where she had the fall. It was on the release move. Certainly don't expect to see it here. She really attacks this event. And I love that she aggressively went after the release move. Got good height and distance from the bar. She's a tiny bit soft in the knees. Just a little. She saved it. It had that little arch in her back. And feet apart on that landing. There are little things in there. You just have to see what the judges do, especially when you celebrate like that, because
I like the fact that she was really aggressive on this handstand.
Absolutely. Just went a little too far over, and they will have to deduct for that arch in her back. Half in, half out. Not quite the toe point as her teammates, but look at the landing. She just always dials that in.
2-time NCAA all-around runner-up. So Utah completes their work on bars. Their lowest score, 9.7875, will be dropped. I'm sure we'll see what Skinner's score comes in. But in that rotation, LSU was on fire. on vault. And a moment ago for UCLA, Caitlin Ohashi started on the beam, coming after Nora Flatley got a 9.8125.
And most people in the country know of her floor exercise routine after it went viral and the joy that she displays there. But she is one of the best balance beam workers in NCAA gymnastics. Uncanny with her ability to do any skill in the book on this event. So she shows a lot of difficulty.
11 times she scored perfect 10s in her career, 9 of them on floor, but twice here on the beam.
One of my favorite parts of the routine is the dismount combination, because she literally tumbles down the balance beam. Look at the position in those leaps, showing off the full split, legs straight, toes pointed. As I said, it's really important for the judges to be able to recognize flaws that need to be deduction. There's that combination pass flip-flop layout right through to the dismount. Very exciting routine. Packed with difficulty and finesse. That's what the judges are looking for, the perfect split in the air on both leaps.
Natalie Wojcik now for Michigan on floor. Their low score, Maddie Osman, was a 9.65, so extra pressure on Wojcik and their final performer, Olivia Karras, in this rotation.
Beautiful form on the front, double full into the front somersault. Watch, every time she pushes off the floor with the feet, goes right through the extension to perfect toe point. It's my one disappointment with the judging at times is that they don't reward this, because the only way you can reward this kind of precise footwork is taking deductions for flawed footwork. And they don't quite have that yet.
He's the 2019 Big Ten Freshman of the Year, the all-around and floor exercise at the Big Ten Championship this year.
Lovely, extremely clean routine.
Bev Plotke, the head coach, told us that if she judges her in a routine in practice and comes up with a 9.95, Wojcik says, okay, where was the 5/100ths and how do I improve? That's the kind of perfectionist that she is. And speaking of superb all-around gymnast, Kyla Ross now coming after Caitlin Ohashi, got a 9.925.
This is an incredibly talented beam rotation, and Kyla Ross is as good as it gets here.
Ross needs a 9.925 for UCLA to take the lead in this rotation, because LSU was superb on the vault.
Beautiful front aerial to the Sisson. You notice she had a tiny little bit of an adjustment. I can't even call it any type of a balance break at all. It was just an adjustment, and kept it moving to get that connection. She has such elegance and poise and stature on this event. Her tall, long, statuesque body is just gorgeous as she executes difficulty and elegant skills like that back arabesque.
Mentioned she's 5'7" tall. And she had a huge growth spurt after her elite career and has
every inch of it, she uses it to near perfection almost every time out. This is what I love. It's not just the split, because we all know she needs to do that. Look how high she is. So the elevation, the amplitude, and the only way to give her credit for going above and beyond is to deduct from others that don't have that amplitude or that perfection.
Olivia Karras now on the floor for Michigan. Natalie Wojcik's score is in. It's a 9.9.
Olivia opens with a double Arabian. And I just love watching her perform. There is a light there that you see in her face. Watch that Arabian double front. Nice job absorbing that landing.
Coach Plotke said she is the energy source for the team. The senior from Chicago, Illinois, has just been a rock star for the Michigan Wolverines her entire career.
I love it. Look at the expression. It's so perfectly matched with the music, with the style, and her personality.
With Michigan, she has been a part of all 4 Big Ten championship teams.
So a little bit off on that punch in between those 2 skills, so the second one didn't quite get the height and rotation, but got right back into the flow of the routine. This is priceless. Nice job on the pike double back. And I tell you what, you cannot perform a routine better than that. It had all of the little nuances. The facial expression went perfectly with the choreography.
Olivia Karras, the senior for the Michigan Wolverines.
Love, love, love this routine. And the joy she shows. Nicely done.
Thursday, it's the first round of the NFL Draft live from Nashville. Catch all the action on ESPN, and for the first time ever, ABC will have its own unique coverage hosted by the College Game Day crew. Coverage begins at 8 Eastern, and you can also catch all 3 days of the draft on ESPN Deportes, ESPN Radio, NFL Radio, the NFL Network, and the ESPN app. A lot of drama here in Fort Worth in the third of 4 rotations. LSU started the meet in last and has worked their way up to first after getting some momentum back on the floor and then a superb rotation on the vault. I'm sure their vault coach, Bob Moore, who with his wife Sandra are watching from home, are proud of that effort. Now, we've talked often about the individuals that are competing here for individual event titles and all-around titles. We're often seeing Alabama, the Crimson Tide, who has won this championship many times, here as a complete team. But having Abby Armbrecht here as an individual just highlights just how tough it is to make it to the Nationals now.
It absolutely does. And I'm thrilled to see this routine here. It epitomizes NCAA gymnastics, especially for this event. They show so much. That's Dana Duckworth watching on, and I know it was a disappointment for them to not be here as a team. It was a bitter pill to swallow, but it will make them better, and that's what Dana told me. That will make them better. They'll go back, figure out what they need to do. Now, Abby Armbrecht on this event, this is some of my favorite music in this competition, and the routine is perfectly choreographed and performed.
The senior from Mobile, Alabama, having her best gymnastics this year in her senior year.
Opens with the double layout. She's going big for this one and gets it. They had to make that decision whether to be conservative with a pike double back or just go big. It's her final routine here. Final year, senior, go for it.
She's a 4.0 student pursuing her master's degree in marketing since she already finished her undergraduate studies last May.
Movement in this routine is just so beautiful. From the arm gestures, the body posture, and even the flying ponytail. It goes with it so perfectly. Love it. Good for her. Nice job.
And you can never go wrong with Stairway to Heaven as your music. Nicely done for Alabama's senior Abby Armbrecht. Holly has got LSU coach Dee Dee Bro.
Well, Coach Bro, you start off on the balance beam, your first competitor up falls. How did you get your team to really pull it together to have such a positive competition here on the vault?
I think that one fall doesn't define what this team has done up until this point, and they rallied together, and you know, momentum's a wonderful thing, and we got a little bit of momentum going now. We need to take it to our last event.
Kennedy Edney with an absolutely gorgeous vault and stick. I saw you put your arm around her and say something important to her. What did you say after that great vault?
I told her I'm not going to let up. She had a terrible warm-up. I'm not going to let up. I'm going to continue to push and rag you until we get to the end of this meet. Then I'll tell you how good you are.
Perfect. Well, she did look pretty good. Thank you, Coach.
Good. Thank you.
And that is the big story of this session. LSU goes from last to first after an outstanding performance on the vault in that rotation. And you want to know how close it is. The top three teams separated by less than a tenth of a point. This is good.
UCLA gymnast Caitlin Ohashi is the viral sensation. Her floor routine from earlier this year with over 500 million views on social media platforms. She has become the face of gymnastics. And this is such an interesting routine that captured everyone's hearts with the fun music, the dance style. But midway through this season, she decided to change it for reasons that she explains to us. Who would change it in the middle of the season? She tells us why she did.
These great championship moments are not possible for our students.
Michael Jackson documentary came out, which also posed like a lot of questions and a lot of things that we had to really think about.
She was very, very clear, and it was a very mature clarity that she said, me changing my routine is not about Michael Jackson. Me changing my routine is the fact that I have got 3 sexual abuse survivors on my team. And I want my floor routine to only bring joy to people.
I've always thought, like, can one person change the world? And it's not necessarily one person can change the world, but they can inspire other people to start that trend.
Caitlin with her new routine, some of the choreography is different, but all of the difficulty is the same. I think that we will love it just as much, and she's got all girl power songs from Tina Turner, Beyonce, Janet Jackson. Her floor routine should shine. They're getting ready for a floor party here. LSU is in the lead when we move into our final rotation here at the NCAA Gymnastics Championship. Miss Val, you're trying to balance the emotion of, is this your final day coaching this team that you love, with just being competitive and going out with joy? How are you doing balancing all those emotions?
Oh gosh, tell me about it. Yeah, it didn't start off well this morning. I could not get it together, but just the more I started just focusing on the athletes, then I got into my rhythm, and it's just enjoying them and wanting them to be able to shine how they've trained.
You kind of got back into the lead here on that last rotation after bars. Another strong beam set. What do you see from your athletes right now competitively?
I'm seeing them a little, I don't think they're tight. I think they're trying to be too perfect, actually. And, you know, hopefully we'll make it on tomorrow and they'll just be able to let it all go.
All right. I have a feeling that they can get untight on the floor coming up, right? That's where they shine.
That's where we shine. It's a floor party.
Okay, floor party coming up.
Thank you.
And we said at the top of the show that this is going to be close. All 4 teams separated by 0.2 of a point. Currently, LSU has the lead after that outstanding rotation on the vault. UCLA is in second, but they are 5/100ths a point ahead of Michigan in third, and Utah is trailing. Kathy, we anticipated this could be the session of death This is going to be coming down to the final athletes.
I just had to readjust myself because I was falling off the edge of my seat. I keep inching forward, and this is going to be intense. It will be a battle.
All right, in this rotation, UCLA is on the floor, Michigan is on the vault, LSU on the bars, and Utah on the beam. Your predictions?
Well, UCLA is so comfortable on the floor exercise, not just with their skills and the difficulty they're going to throw, but with their audience and with performing. This is a stage to them, and they are going to perform the heck out of the routines.
Leading off on vault for Michigan is Abby Heiskell. On the bars for LSU, Sammy Durrani. The vault, Paulina Trotz for UCLA on the floor and on the beam.
Good start for Michigan there on vault. And Sammy Durrani has done such a terrific job. Her second year now as the leadoff performer for LSU on bars. I saw a tiny little bit of leg separation there, but hitting those handstands, the big things that the judges look for and often just make the difference. Oh no, short on the landing on that dismount. Really short of rotation, big step forward.
The sophomore from Athens, Georgia. They're leading off for LSU. Paulina Trotz, member of the German national team, competing for the Bruins on this event, which has, as you said, become a signature event for UCLA.
Each routine so unique in its character, in the choreography, its relationship to the music. Honestly, I see them more as experiences as routines. This is what the judges look for and can deduct. A little bit of low chest on that landing.
Known for her power, the two-time German national vault champion. She competed for Germany in the World Championships in 2015. And Maxim for Michigan on the vault a moment ago after Abby Heiskell had a 9.8.
A unique vault here. It's a Sukahara with a half twist. Very difficult vault. Just drilled the landing. Superb job on finding that landing. Much more difficult vault. Little leg form on the pre-flight. They'll have to deduct for that, but they might forget it after seeing a landing like that.
Michigan currently in third coming into this rotation. They are 5/100ths of a point behind second place. The goal today is finish in the top two and advance to tomorrow's finals. Michigan has a shot if they can continue to stick vaults like that. Alicia Sacramone-Quinn is calling this vault on the ESPN app. Here is Maddie Mariani. Let's listen in.
From the coaching staff, patiently waiting her turn. Very focused. A lot of pressure on this Michigan team. They are fighting to get into the top two to continue their path to hopefully get a national championship. The top two teams from this semifinal will qualify to the finals tomorrow evening. The pressure is on all of these athletes. They are fighting for something bigger than themselves. And Maddie's about to put her score into the mix. Nice Yurchenko full. Little bit short distance-wise from the table. Small hop and movement of the feet. Should be a decent 9.8 score.
Thank you, Alicia. In terms of rankings, vault is one of the best rankings for Michigan this year. They're 6th nationally. And of course, as we mentioned at the top of the show, their whole season has been about can't break, steal. They've handled a great deal of adversity. Nia Dennis now for UCLA on the floor. Paulina Trotz led them off with a 9.8125.
And the Queen of the Nile just opened with a full twisting double back and pike position.
As Ruby Harold takes to the bars for LSU.
Really neat routine from Ruby Harold. Lots of unique difficulty. Watch this right into the dismount. Double front. Gets the landing here. Exactly what they needed.
Their scores so far are Sammy Durrani only a 9.775, Bailey Ferrer a 9.7875. So LSU the leader coming into this fourth rotation, but mediocre scores at best on bars.
Just wrote her name in the air. Ania, saw her dot the I there. So far, a good routine, perhaps a large, kind of a hop step on that middle pass, but I've noticed the judges are not quite taking out of those combination pass really enough of a deduction on a big step out. We'll see. Ends with a big double back. And dramatic finish, puts the crown on her head.
Nia Dennis, the sophomore for UCLA, former national team member.
Very well performed. Difficult double back with a full twist, and in pike position, a little bit more difficult than the tucked full in.
Kennedy Edney, we saw her nail a vault when LSU was in that third rotation. Let's see if she can deliver a good score here.
Well, known for her power, the speed and the amplitude that she showed on her vault. She shows that especially on the dismount on this event. And if she can just keep good form, really try to lock those legs together, get a little bit more stretch in the body line.
Talk about the pressure now. The first two scores for LSU on this event were in the 9.7s. Ruby Harrell just notched a 9.9. They need big scores throughout if they hope to advance till tomorrow's final.
Kennedy has two big skills in this routine that she needs to capitalize on. First one is right here to Hindorf, that clear hip into the reverse hat. She's got a little bit of a bent arm into her cast. So she needs to capitalize by nailing the dismount. Again, a little bent arms going into that handstand. Let's see if she can get this, though, because it is spectacular in the air. And she's got the landings dialed in this competition. It doesn't matter where she is, she's going to find it.
And congratulations there from Associate Head Coach Jay Clark. He's responsible for their good work on bars.
Good job on that Hindorf. But this was the best part of the routine, and, of course, the landing.
Every little tenth of a point is going to count if these teams hope to advance to the final. All of them separated by 0.2 of a point coming into this rotation. Olivia Karras for Michigan on vault.
1.5 twist here. Oh, just brought her head forward a little too much on that landing and took a hop.
Gracie Kramer on floor for UCLA.
And those who follow UCLA gymnastics closely and their floor routines love this routine. It is one of the more unique among many unique routines. Front double twist to a front pike. They should put an energy meter on her. I've never seen a more energetic choreography.
At the same time for Michigan, it's Natalie Wojcik, their final vaulter over there.
And this can be huge for them. It's a big vault, very clean in the air.
So that will be the final performer for Michigan. Their team score will come in, and we'll know what the other teams need to get to advance to the final tomorrow.
Finishes with a Rudy to a big stretch jump. Whoa, now she can unplug. Oh my gosh, there's so much energy in that routine. Such an entertaining floor routine.
Miss Val says she has that quality that you just can't teach. She really is a natural performer. Moment to go for LSU, Lexi Priestman after Kennedy Edney got a 9.925 after sticking her double layout.
Bart, you and I saw Lexi Priestman score her first 10-0 on the uneven bar. She has really good level of difficulty. 2 release moves in there, from high and then right down to the low bar.
She had injections earlier this week. She has some inflammation in that shoulder.
Love to see the straight body cast as well. Oh no, little hop. That they will have to take a little deduction for that hop, but I sure wish they'd give credit for these athletes who are swinging straight body, straight arm cast. Love to see that. Just small hop on that landing, though.
And now Sarah Finnegan from LSU will be their final performer. Scores in for Alexi Priestman a 9.875. So 3 really big scores here coming into this, hopefully 4th big score for LSU. Keep them in the running.
Sarah showing off her trademark toe point, form, elegance. Even on this big swinging routine, so far so good. Double layout, really beautiful in the air. Gorgeous, gorgeous position in the air. Slightly different technique than we saw from Kennedy Edney. A little bit more of a tight arc, but very elegant position in the air.
You see the score on your screen.
On this ray, toe on reverse hack. Look at the toe point. I'm almost blinded by that. 2 feet above the bar, yet, and great distance. Notice the outstretched arms on that regress. These are the little things you want to see rewarded with a big score.
And a great finish there for LSU on the bars. They will finish ahead of Michigan according to those scores as Kyla Ross moves to her performance on floor for UCLA. Will they make it through till tomorrow?
A super high. I've never seen her that high. Out of that whip back into the tuck double back. Back 1.5 to front layout. There's the perfect control on that landing. That's the amount of step you should take out of those tumbling passes.
And Sarah Finnegan's score is in. It's a 9.95. So they will finish ahead of Michigan. Those 2 teams have final scores now. LSU 197.5, 125. Michigan an impressive 197.2. Will UCLA finish strong on floor and be the other team to work their way into the final tomorrow? Comes down to Kyla Ross.
I love that Kyla has found the little nuances in this floor routine to really elevate the performance quality. Pike double back. Beautifully done. She's one of the best all-around gymnasts we've seen in NCAA gymnastics. Great job.
19 times in her career she scored perfect 10s, twice on the floor. And she's one of the few gymnasts to complete what they call the gym slam, which is a perfect 10 on each event, and she's done it twice.
This is the best she's ever done this pass. It's a whip back, no hands on that back handspring, but the height that she got on the tuck double back was huge. And a more difficult double back because it's in a pike position.
Let's go down to Holly.
Well, you can see Kyla Ross finish that routine just as well as she started it. That's because this season she has added more conditioning. She said, my body's never felt better. She's doing extra conditioning work on a rower, on a stepper. She said, I wanted to make sure that the end of that 2-minute routine, I was just as strong as when I started. And you can see it, that extension, all of that energy that she finishes the routine with, that has come from extra work outside of the gym, outside of practice, to make sure she is in peak form and just as good on her final pass as she is on her first.
Good point. She's the Pac-12 Gymnast of the Year. All that hard work has paid off. All-around champion at the Pac-12 Championships, bars champion, floor co-champion. The Olympic gold medalist from 2012 does her part. Although you can see some tension on the faces of this coaching staff because this is going to come down to the final performances. Coverage of the NBA playoffs rolls on tonight with a trio of Game 3s. Raptors Magic at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Celtics Pacers at 8:30 on ABC. Trailblazers Thunder at 9:30 on ESPN. You can catch all the action streaming live on the ESPN app. Alicia Hano now. The score in for Kyla Ross, an outstanding 9.95.
Hano opened with a double layout. As I mentioned earlier, the top teams are going to have more of those really difficult E-passes. A little bit off on the punch between those 2 skills, so the second one wasn't quite as high as we're used to seeing. And I love that her nickname to the team is Fish, and she is a 1920s mermaid. That is the character of this routine. You'll hear it almost sound like she's going underwater here. Little water wave, little swimming. Judges are looking for those positions in those leaps, showing off the full split, and a perfect picture in the air as they turn and leap. High double back, good control. Strong performance.
UCLA started the day after the first rotation in third place, worked up to first place after the second rotation, back down to second place coming into this rotation. Will they advance? You see the scores, the final scores for LSU and Michigan. And a moment ago, Michaela Skinner for Utah on beam and a 9-9 to take the lead in the all-around competition.
And we've seen Michaela on her two best events, vault and floor exercise, but she is so consistent all the way around, especially on this event. Oh! Back handspring layout step out, lifted that front leg. That is a more significant balance deduction. Side aerial to the Sisson.
Before her, McKenna Merrill Giles, only a 9.0875.
Reverse full turn. See just a little bit of nerves creeping up. Sometimes when you're just trying to be too perfect, better job on those leaps, really keeping that back foot pointed.
High score in this rotation for Utah was Sydney Solowski's 9.8125, but they're going to want to drop a low score. They need a good landing here from Skinner.
Michaela throws a big, difficult dismount, a double back. One of the only ones in the competition, if not the only one, fought to get that landing. Really well done. So the highlight, that difficult dismount, but the leg lift after the layout will cost her.
This is the routine that, of course, has captured the attention of the United States. It went viral with 500 million views. This is the new version of this routine.
Check that out. Split leg double layout. She landed just a little bit short with the chest down, but such a difficult pass.
Eleven times in her career, she scored perfect tens, 9 times on the floor.
Really difficult illusion turns. I don't think a lot of people realize that she's not just having fun. She's actually doing some difficult dance elements as well. Beautiful ring position in those leaps. Closes out this so entertaining floor routine, and a mic drop. Good for her.
Her routines have been inspiring, as well as her backstory, and of course she's become a powerful advocate for young women around topics such as bullying and body shaming. She has become a symbol of success in collegiate gymnastics.
And no score can top that. We love to see the 10s, we love to see them, but what she has done for gymnastics, for her school, the switch leg, double layout. She was a tiny bit short, so this wasn't her most perfect routine. But that's not what this is all about. It has not been her message. It's pure joy and empowering you to be who you are. front full to the front half, split jump, and a well-deserved drop that mic.
And with the score of Felicia Hano before her, 9-9-1-2-5, that means regardless of what Ohashi gets, UCLA and LSU will advance to the semifinal tomorrow. Michigan with a 197.2, a strong performance start to finish. Utah dropped off in that last rotation with some struggles on the beam. They will finish fourth out of the 4 teams in this session. Scores in now. Ohashi gets a 9-9-2-5, so that makes it complete. UCLA with a 197.675 will win this session and advance to the championship tomorrow. Let's go down to Holly. She's with Coach Val.
Coach, there's so much pressure on your team in this new format, only the top 2 advance. How relieved are you that you're one of those top 2?
Oh, my goodness. I woke up this morning thinking, whose bright idea was this to go to 4 on the floor? I mean, we've been fighting for it for a long time, and I've been a strong advocate, but it is a lot more pressure.
In your final rotation, you made some changes to your floor lineup. What were you thinking going into that final rotation?
Well, we've always stressed with our student athletes that they have to warm up well. And so we warm up 7 or 8, and they know if they don't warm up well on that given day, we're going to pull them. Not because we don't have faith in them, but because it puts extra stress on their teammates.
Okay, so they did it. Your floor party worked. You're on till tomorrow. What will you do the rest of the day to make sure you're locked in and try to win a championship tomorrow?
We got to rest, recover, refuel. We've got to ice. We've got to do all that. And I believe we start on beam tomorrow. So we're going to need to come out, and we can't play it safe on that first event.
Thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you.
And here are the scores. The goal this afternoon was to survive and advance, and that's what happened to UCLA and LSU. Unfortunately, the seasons for Michigan and Utah come to a close in this semifinal. We'll be back to wrap it all up here from Fort Worth. Final number 1 is complete here at the 2019 NCAA Gymnastics Championship. And as you can see, UCLA, the reigning national champions, will advance to the final. And LSU, the reigning SEC champions, advance as well. What a day, Kathy Johnson-Clark.
Well, I think it's we have sports cliches for a reason, and it played out here. You never, ever, ever give up. It's not how you begin, it's how you end. And it's not over till it's over. And that's exactly the way it played out for all of these teams, to see them fight to the end. And you could tell the level of intensity has raised with this new format.
It certainly has. And, of course, later tonight on ESPNU at 7 Eastern, it'll be semifinal number 2, and that'll be a thriller as well.
Get ready.
So UCLA and LSU advance to tomorrow night's final national championship. You're not going to want to miss that. Now catch semifinal number 2 of the NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship tonight at 7 Eastern on ESPNU. It's a new format, adding a great deal of intensity, and the teams feel it. For Holly Rowe and Kathy Johnson-Clark, I'm Bar Connor. So long from Fort Worth. We'll see you later tonight at 7 Eastern for semifinal 2.
Hey, this is the Magic Man.